It's a nice spring night here in Lexington as the Blue Jays of Elmhurst come to town to take on the 11th-ranked Generals of Washington and Lee for a non-conference Division III men's lacrosse game here at Wilson Field. We say hello and welcome to Wilson Field here on the campus of Washington and Lee University in Lexington, Virginia. Thanks so much for joining us on the Washington and Lee Sports Network alongside Matt Aker. I'm Ryan Connell, and Matt, we have a nice display of a game on our hands tonight. Elmhurst, one of the best, hottest teams in the country right now, running a 6-game winning streak, coming against WNL, nationally ranked team, getting a chance to try and get their first win against a nationally ranked opponent in program history.
Yeah, the Blue Jays are riding a 6-game win streak coming tonight. The only game they've lost this year was 11-10 to Center College. It was previously in the NCAA tournament last season. They've played 3 straight opponents that made the NCAA tournament last season. They beat Colorado College 14-13. They ended up losing in the first round to the national champion Salisbury Seagulls. And they've beat Hope College 12-8, who also lost to CNU in the first round. They've also had wins over Albion College, Oberlin College, Benedictine University, and Concordia University of Wisconsin.
For Washington and Lee, it was a 4-game winning streak after a win against Gettysburg back on March 9th, but then it was 2 losses last weekend in Maryland to number 4 RIT 15-9, and then to Stevenson 10-9. It was an empty trip in terms of wins for the Generals, but a couple of close games against some highly ranked opponents.
Yeah, I thought the Generals played well. The RIT game was very unfortunate to see the score, but it was very tight. In terms of that, you just see the score kind of slip away at the end there. I thought they played well, and just a bounce-back game against Stevenson. Unfortunately, not the result you're looking for, but to have a 1-goal loss against a team that's been in the national rankings before, and you hear their name often.
And for Washington Lee, this is just their 3rd home game at Wilson Field this year. They have wins already on their home turf against Washington College of Maryland 17-9 and number 18 Denison 13-11. This is the first of 2 home games this week for the Generals. They have Senior Day on Saturday against the Quakers of Guilford College, and a lot more home games still on the schedule after that, just the way that things work out with the scheduling. Senior Day is this Saturday against Guilford, but a team looking to rebound after a couple of close defeats has a chance to do it against a team that has gotten off to a great start this year. And for Elmhurst, obviously making a trip all the way out here to Virginia from Illinois during spring break, getting a chance to come east and play a nationally ranked team for the first time in program history.
Yeah, I think it's great for the Blue Jays. They've had some struggles in the conference in Illinois and the CCIW. Haven't made the conference tournament since 2021. Haven't made the CCIW championships in 2019. And never made an appearance in the NCAA tournament.
So for Washington and Lee, obviously fresh off a quarterfinal appearance in last year's Division III NCAA tournament for the first time in nearly 20 years, going 18-5 and setting a program record for wins in a season ago, trying to get back on the right track here tonight against the Blue Jays of Elmhurst University. Elmhurst, they've only played 3 games away from home this year. That was a loss in the season opener to Center, 11-10, and then their most 2 recent games against Benedictine and Concordia, 14-4 and 17-9 wins respectively. Outside of the first couple of games of the year, which were 2 1-goal games that they lost to Center and won against Colorado College, they've not played a game closer than a 4-goal margin. So it'll be interesting to see against, taking an uptick in competition and seeing perhaps a closer game on our hands tonight.
Yes, the Blue Jays, they've been outscoring their opponents 99-67 this season. So the offense is there. They have a lot of defensive production, and I'm excited for this game on hand. I believe it's going to be a great game, and see what happens.
So Elmhurst looking to win their 7th straight game. Washington Lee trying to bounce back after a pair of defeats last weekend in Maryland. We'll have the starting lineups in the opening face-off between the Blue Jays and Generals up next on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. Hamilton will sky it into the air as Washington and Lee is on to the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2004. Back here at Wilson Field on the campus of Washington Lee University, getting set for tonight's Division III men's lacrosse game between the Blue Jays of Elmhurst University and the Generals of Washington Lee. Time to meet the starting lineups for tonight's game, and we'll start with the visiting Blue Jays of Elmhurst. It starts on attack with a sophomore, number 2, Eli Spence, a junior defender, number 5, Austin Evans, a sophomore midfielder, number 10, Tony Vasquez, a sophomore goalkeeper, number 12, Andrew Laxonen, a freshman midfielder, number 14, Charlie Ferry, a freshman defender, number 24, Gabe Henry, a junior defender, number 26, Tommy Smythe, a sophomore defender, number 41, Matt Cashiel, a freshman attackman, number 43, Hunter Hernandez, and a sophomore attackman, number 77, Caden Ames. Head coach Mark Morrell in his 12th season. All 12 years, the Elmhurst Blue Jays have been around for men's lacrosse. He has been the head coach on the sidelines for the Blue Jays. His assistants Jacob Lemke and David Castaneda. The Blue Jays 6-1 overall and 2-1 away from Illinois this season. As for the 11th ranked Generals of Washington Lee, head coach Gene McCabe in his 18th season in charge of Washington and Lee. His assistants Taylor Mendoza, Will Garrett, Chuck O'Connell, and Doug Hirsch, as well as we get to the starting laps for the Generals, and it starts with the junior midfielder from Suffolk, Virginia, number 5, Jack Elliott, a sophomore attackman, number 9 from Westfield, New Jersey, James Haley, a senior captain and defender from Manchester, New Hampshire, number 10, Jed Heald, a junior attackman from Louisville, Kentucky, number 20, Hillis Burns, a junior defender from Wilmington, North Carolina, number 25, Matthew Azell, a senior captain and attackman from Norwalk, Connecticut, number 37, Alex Brown, a senior midfielder from Fairhaven, New Jersey, number 38, Sam Menino, a sophomore defender from Westchester, Pennsylvania, number 42, Chris Datz, a senior midfielder from West Newbury, Massachusetts, number 48, Michael Otten. In goal for the Generals, the first year from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, making his 5th straight start in between the pipes for the Generals. It's number 55, Nick DeCane, as the two teams meet at midfield. Washington Lee in the home white uniforms, blue numbers and letters, Generals across the front of their chest. They'll go left to right here in the first, while Elmhurst in the visiting navy blue uniforms with white numbers and letters, a little bit of a light blue trim to it as well, and the shiny chrome helmets here this evening. They will go right to left here in the first, as The Generals and Blue Jays will get ready for the opening face-off. Matt, any keys to victory for both Elmhurst and Washington Lee here tonight?
So I think for Elmhurst, they need to limit the Generals' offense. The Generals' offense has been very productive this season. I think defensively you have to just shut down the pace of play that they have and pushing in transition that they've done this whole season.
And it's a face-off violation to start against Tony Vasquez, so Washington Lee will start the game with the ball. Elliot Cohen will leave off here for Hillis Burns as the top unit midfield will cycle in. Brown in front of the net, tries for the short side, rings it off the side of the post, and it will go out and be Blue Jays ball. For Washington and Lee, 9 goals in each of their games last weekend in Maryland. Haven't got to double digits and putting 15 up against number 7 Gettysburg. They force a turnover on the far side, trying to stay in bounds is Ryan Donahue. He's able to get it over to Albricks. A 2-on-1 here for the Generals. Burns, one more pass for Haley, and he slots it home.
And that was one of the things I was just talking about. You want to limit the transition that the Generals can get into and go score, and you see that they had a 3-on-1, 3-on-2. It leaves the goalkeeper out to dry, and it's hard to make a save in that spot.
So it takes Washington less than a minute to strike for the first time tonight, and it's James Haley with his 16th goal of the season. The sophomore from Westfield, New Jersey, seeing a big uptick in playing time this year as a starting attackman for the Generals, and he's made the most of it. As we have a false start against Spano and Washington Lee, so it'll be Elmhurst ball after the face-off. Haley now 27 points this season. And the assist going to Hillis Burns, that's his 27th point as well. So each of them lead the team with 27 points. Now it is the Generals' 8th game of the season. Elmhurst with the ball in the attacking third for the first time this evening as Hunter Hernandez controls for the Blue Jays. Eli Spence behind the net, the leading scorer for Elmhurst, 42 points, 29 goals, 13 assists for the sophomore attackman. It was the CCIW Offensive Player of the Week last week. Here's Jake Grebe out in front, redirected, and that one at least appeared to catch a piece of the net, but perhaps a little bit more post than net. Kane and the Generals will look to clear. Sam and Jed Heald go back and forth. Sam Menino will get a touch and bring it across midfield. Menino over for Burns. He'll dodge to his left. Around the perimeter comes here for James Haley. Burns. Draws a large crowd. Haley gonna circle the net. His shot goes high and wide. But it'll stay with Washington and Lee. Alex Brown with it now. Brown, 22 goals this season. The team lead in goals. A very productive goal scorer over his last 3+ seasons, now in his senior campaign. Menino looking for Ott down low, and there's Brown right on cue.
Ryan, just a defensive miscue there. You leave a guy wide open on the crease, and you find him wide open there. It's another thing. There's no slide coming from the backside there to help out, and just, once again, leaving your goalie out to dry.
It's been a fast start for the Generals. 2 goals in the first 2 minutes and 28 seconds. This one from Alex Brown, courtesy of Michael Ott. Ott's 8th assist of the year. Brown's team best 23rd goal of his senior campaign. He had 43 goals a year ago. Was a third-team all-conference selection. And Spano wins the face-off for the Generals. Alex Brown surpassed 100 career goals last week as well. A guy that's been, as I mentioned, 20 goals in each of the last 3 seasons now for the senior captain. Now we'll work in the second unit midfield. Andrew Keller out there with Jack Todd and Leif Smith. Haley across here for Todd. Smith will work it around for Burns. Tommy has been trying to figure out their second unit midfield after Joey Allen went down in the game against Denison a few weeks back. They've I had to reshuffle the lines in the midfield here. And so far here to start, it'll be Jack Todd out there with Keller and Smith. Keller's shot blocked, comes right back to him, and he puts it in.
Nothing too special there from the Generals. Just a very unfortunate break. Deflects off the defender. Kind of stuns him a little bit, and he just comes back through and buries it home.
And that'll be a timeout for the Blue Jays and Elmhurst, as Washington Lee struck 3 times in the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So the Blue Jays want to talk things over. 3 goals in the first 3 minutes and 31 seconds. 3 different goal scorers for the blue and white, as Andrew Keller picks up his 5th goal of this season. And talked for Washington Lee about maybe perhaps getting off to a quick start after a couple of games in which they really had to work against some top-end competition. A fast start here with 3 goals in the first 3.5 minutes will get it done.
Yeah, for Coach Morello, this was not in the game plan for him. I talked earlier in the game that you want to limit their offense as much as you can and get 3 goals here in the first 3 minutes. It's going to be hard to kind of come back from that.
So for the Blue Jays, at a timeout here, perhaps trying to win a clean face-off as well. We've seen they'll take 2 of the first 3 face-offs, and the only one they didn't, it was Spano going early for the Generals. Tony Vasquez, who's been the main face-off guy for Elmhurst this season, entered the day with the winning percentage over 64% and won 115 of the 179 face-offs he had taken entering the day, and he will match up again against the Generals' first-year Spano. Spano himself over 60% to start his first season, 101 for 168. Another win there as he has it knocked out of his stick and he turns it over.
Well, for Elmhurst here, you want to get a good clear here, and you want to set up your offense, work through it, get a nice shot, get a nice shot off, and then hopefully get the ball back with the shot clock reset. Kind of, make this Generals defense work.
BD pressuring Smythe along the near side, has to give way for Charlie Ferry. Jake Grebe will get a touch as well. Be one of the top players last season for Elmhurst, 67 points, 35 goals, 32 assists. This season, 21 points through 6 games. Aycock with it behind the net. Double team comes, spins his way back to his right, and he throws it away.
Just not the look you're looking for there. Throwing it away with 2 guys on his hands. It's just not an ideal possession. You just turn the ball over.
10:20 to play here in the first. 3 early goals for Washington and Lee. Across here for Michael Ott. Haley right back to him. Ott draws a crowd. That pass deflected and taken back by Gabe Henry. One of the top defenders this year for Elmhurst. End of the day, 28 ground balls, 21 caused turnovers through 7 games. Talk about someone coming in and making an immediate impact on the back end. Gabe Henry, number 24 for Elmhurst. Just a panic across here for Parker O'Leary. Elmhurst has taken just 1 shot in today's game. O'Leary over for Spence. His pass intended for Hernandez, deflected by Heald. Can he keep it in? He cannot. Diving after it on the far side. Spence pressured here by Azell. Turn to his right. Force back left and misses the net to the short side. Final few seconds left here on the shot clock for the Blue Jays, and Caden Ames will just toss it into the corner and eat it for an 80-second violation. So 8:30 to play here in the first. Winnell takes back possession. That pass from DeCane to Deaths caught him in between hops. Ames has struggled picking it back off the turf, so Winnell will luck out and hold on to it. DeCane, home run pass over the top. Looking for Burns, and getting a piece of that one was Laxonen, the goalie, out of his crease, and he helps to at least force it out of play. Albricks. Here's Jack Todd. Todd will control and wait for Andrew Keller to enter. Todd going to his right. Haley, one more for Burns. Out in front, Brown. And he somehow finds the angle to slide it past Laxonen and in. Seemed like caught a high pass and just a sliver there to work with. And Alex Brown puts it in for his second goal of the night and 24th of the season.
All right, two defenders standing there, looked like they were a little lost. The communication seems to just not be there for the Blue Jays defense currently.
Vasquez tries to tie up Spano. Able to kick it around as it gets popped into the air. Spano loses his footing. Still some chopping after it, and it'll be Blue Jays ball. Elmhurst, who scored in double-digit goals in every game to start the season, still scoreless here more than halfway through the first. They have just 2 shots to Winnell's 7. Haycock, O'Leary, and Pete Grebe on in the midfield here for the Blue Jays. Grebe trying for the wraparound. Bounces through the crease and comes to Azell. The Blue Jays have been crowding midfield, trying to make things a little bit more difficult and force Winnell into some of those longer passes. This one complete here for Elliot Cohen as he rings it off the crossbar. A dive after it, and they'll say some good hustle that time by Smythe will earn back possession for Elmhurst. Grebe going to leave it off here for O'Leary. Parker O'Leary, the senior from Friendswood, Texas, 6 goals, 9 points this year. One-on-one against Blair Brennan. Brennan standing with them stride for stride. Aycock out in front. Pass closed off, intended for Caden Ames, and it'll be another Elmhurst turnover.
Another tough look inside. The Generals defense is collapsing on it. Not sure why they keep going to it, but they seem to be their bread and butter.
Nino across midfield, racing into the offensive end. Ely hesitating here for Burns. Nino across the middle. This one catches Elliott in between hops, and he'll settle it down right by midfield. Still 35 seconds to shoot for the Generals. Elliott pressured by Gabe Henry. Ott tied up behind the net. Here's Burns, and a bounce shot, and a goal for Hillis Burns. Ott stays tied up, finds Menino, takes a little time to get it over to Burns, and bounce shot gets past Laxonen and in for the 5th goal of the first here for WNL.
Just textbook ball movement from the Generals there. Moving the ball around, getting the defenders moving, and Burns with just a nice bounce shot to beat the goalkeeper there.
18th goal of the season for Hillis Burns, the junior from Louisville. Second team all-conference last year. All-region select honorable mention, also a USILA honorable mention All-American last year at 81 points in his sophomore campaign, 52 goals, 29 assists. Second most points on the team behind Hudson Bacorny last season. Bacorny had a single season program record, 109 points in 23 games last season. And Jack Todd, who will sport Hudson Bacorny's number 21 out there with it now, and he fires one right off the crossbar as it comes out all the way to midfield. It'll make its way back for Leif Smith, and I'll get a 60-second reset for the Generals. Burns, this one catches a piece of Laxonen's arm, and we'll head to the Generals bench and out. Keller gonna skip it across. Burns, and another goal. That one slid in on the ground that time as Hillis Burns picks up his second goal in less than a minute.
All right, looks like there might have been a deflection there in front of the net, but I'm not sure. Just another great shot, beats his man top side and rips it home.
Oh, Burns gets that one unassisted. 3:08 left. Washington only 6, Elmhurst nothing. Little Bow out there for the face-off for the Generals. And this one is controlled by the Blue Jays. For Elmhurst, found themselves in a 6-0 hole here in a hurry. A position they have not found themselves in really at all this season. As Eli Spence tries to go to work. O'Leary. His pass for Jake Grebe. Couldn't be completed, and out it goes for another Blue Jays turnover. Thrown up ahead. Alex Brown will settle it off the turf. Dangerous pass that time from Colin Beatty. The Generals keep possession. Here's Jack Elliott. Burns. He's off for Menino. Menino out in front. Haley hit from behind late. That'll draw a flag and a stoppage with 1:33 left. Rang his shot off the post and then took a shot from behind. Looks like they'll get Tommy Smythe on the penalty. So unnecessary against Tommy Smythe, a 1-minute penalty. So with 1:33 to play here in the first, and WNL already with the 6-0 lead, they go to the man up for the first time tonight. So some 6-on-5 for the Generals. Here as time runs down on the first quarter. It's been full control from the start here for WNL. Pass over the middle intended for Smith, broken up and scooped up by Gabe Henry. Blue Jays get it across midfield. Ryan Swank with less than a minute left. Caden Ames trying to wind out most of the time left on the penalty to Smythe. Just less than 10 seconds left on the penalty, and then Elmhurst will be back to full strength for the final 30 seconds or so here of the first, and the Blue Jays are back to full strength. Shot clock won't be a factor here for the end of the quarter for Elmhurst. Haycock in front, that one catches all piping out. Chance for WNL in transition. Heald's pass sails high. And it's scooped up by the Blue Jays as they will hold it out for the final few seconds. A desperation heave down the turf, but after 15 minutes of lacrosse, it's number 11 Washington League 6, Elmhurst nothing. So we'll step aside when we come back. Get you ready for the second quarter between Elmhurst and WNL on the Washington League Sports Network. Back here at Wilson Field on the campus of Washington Lee University. Number 11, Washington Lee 6, Elmhurst nothing after 15 minutes. Thanks for joining us here on the Washington Lee Sports Network. You can also find today's men's lacrosse game on 12-ounce sports, grassroots sports with dedicated authors, show hosts, and live sports across North America at 12ouncesports.com. Ryan Gallman-Aker with you here on the Washington Lee Sports Network. It was all Generals in the first 15 minutes. They put 6 goals across as they lead at 6-zip. Thanks to a couple of goals from Hillis Burns, 2 from Alex Brown, and a goal each for James Haley and Andrew Keller. As it's a false start against Elmhurst on the face-off to start. And we will have a penalty flag fly as well. So WNL, after failing to convert on their first man-up chance, will have another chance on the man-up. Procedure of the call against Vasquez. 30-second penalty. So WNL, who was unable to convert on their first man-up chance, Matt, will have another chance here just 8 seconds into the second.
Yeah, on their last man-up attempt, it looked like they tried to force it inside, and it looked like Leif Smith was not ready for it. He wasn't expecting the ball there, so we'll see if they can settle it down here and get a good wheel route or something going.
Earns around here for Elliott. Out in front, it's Brown, and there's the hat trick. Third goal of the night for Alex Brown. WNL converts with the man up, and they make it 7-0.
A great look here from the Generals. Just looking inside, a great cut. They just leave him wide open once again, leaving their goalie out to dry. They got to collapse on the inside, especially with the cutter there. So
Sam Menino gets the assist, and Alex Brown's third goal of the night, his 25th goal of the season, as Washington at least has stretched it to 7-0. It's 31 seconds into the second. Spano with a clean face-off win. So he'll bring it ahead for WNL. Sam Bassett rotates in up front for the Generals, number 24 in white. Keller, Jack Todd, and Leif Smith, second unit midfield, also enter here for the Generals. Keller off for Bassett. Physicality on the perimeter from Josh Bryant. And we'll get a call against the Generals as they'll turn it over. Harry trying to bring it ahead. Harry comes all the way up for Elmhurst. They'll leave off for Hernandez, but Heald got a stick in there to knock it away. Zell through the middle for Jack Todd. The Generals go quickly in transition. Haley thought about a shot, elected not to take it, and will leave off for Leif Smith. Haley waiting for WNL to get back to full strength, as had a few defensive midfielders out there cycling off. Haley just dancing behind the net. Leave off here for Bassett. Keller's pass intended for Haley, well too high, and WNL gives it right back to the Blue Jays. The sixth turnover of the night for Washington and Lee. Long pass is hauled in by Eli Spence. He's got a step on Azell, but Azell makes up for it with some good stick work to poke it free. Here's Elliott Cohen. Behind the back pass. Generals getting a little fancy that time and got away from him. As that pass from Haley to Brown couldn't be completed. Blue Jays give it right back. Brown all alone, and he'll have his fourth goal of the night.
Just unfortunate there for the Blue Jays. Goalie comes out, handcuffs his defenseman, and then just wide open net for the Generals. Just they need to minimize their own damage and handle the ball properly.
And getting a goal scorer like Alex Brown right in front of the net with nobody in front of him, that's not a recipe for success. Fourth goal of the night for Brown. Last season, Brown was second in the country in shot percentage. Just had a very efficient junior campaign. They're out to those 43 goals. A few flags fly. A delayed penalty upcoming against Washington and Lee. Blue Jays won just their fourth face-off of the evening. Spence for Hernandez. Field with the on-ball pressure. This one intended for Ames across the middle, and we'll get a stoppage here with 10:56 left. Elmhurst will be heading to the man up. A 1-minute penalty against number 4, Jay O'Keefe for the Generals. Gets hit with the slashing call. Sophomore from Richmond will take a seat for a minute with 10:56 left, and Elmhurst will head to the extra man for the first time here tonight.
Blue Jays need to have a solid possession here. You're a man up, move the ball around, spin it around, eat up. You have a full 60 seconds. Eat up that clock and try and get a good shot off, and hopefully get a reset and get the ball back there too.
Got just 5 shots on the night. Nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. To try and at least try to take advantage of having one more player on the field here as they continue to work it around. Pence gets it back from Haycock. Return feed. Grebe along the crease. Swiped from behind. Zell causes that turnover. L can't complete the clear as Cohen's pass for Donahue was too high. The Generals will recollect as Alex Brown comes away with the loose ball. And W&L will eat out the final few seconds on the slashing call to O'Keefe, and W&L back to full strength. Each team with a couple of extra man chances. The Generals 1 for 2. Elmhurst 0 for 1. This one, a behind the back goal for Brown. Let's on a highlight reel. 5th goal of the evening does the senior captain, as we'll take another look. Haley right for Brown and curls it right in off the post and in.
That defender just late get to him. It was a late cutter. Defender couldn't keep up. Great feed and a great finish.
First assist of the night for James Haley. He's got a goal and assist. Alex Brown's got a team high 5 points thanks to 5 goals. It brings his season goal total up to 27.
General goal scored by number 37, Alex Brown, and assisted by number 9, James Haley.
On the ensuing face-off, mad scramble for it, and Vasquez able to take it back. Ames looking for the top corner, won't find the net. Seemed to be one of the few shots that Elmhurst has had with a clear path to the goal, though. Although it comes, just about 10 seconds into the shot clock, you maintain possession and still got plenty of time to work. O'Leary. Forced back. Ames to his left with an opening. Had it knocked free. Couple of bodies fly, and the Generals come away with it. Albricks on the breakout. Throw it over the middle, looking for Heald, cutting to the net. Trying to reward his senior defender and captain getting in on the offensive end, and Heald just wasn't ready for it. Now trying to stand up O'Leary right at midfield, and they force the turnover. Brown and Haley combined for the defensive stop there as well. Under 8 minutes to play here in the first half. Like a lot controls for the Generals. Leave off for Jack Elliott. knocked back by Grebe. Menino had the opening, just couldn't find the net.
Just a little too much separation there between the offense and defense there. You know, you got to stay tight on his hip there, not let him get a shot off there.
Bassett for Ott. Double team comes. Forced back to his left, but Ott able to escape. Elliott right down the slot. Piping out that time. 60-second reset. After that one catches the post. Haley curls around the net and fires high and wide.
Not sure if that's the shot you want there. A very low angle, right at GLE there. Tough shot to get in. If it goes in, highlight real goal. But there you just, you could possibly lose possession there on that shot.
WNL will keep possession. Elmhurst will take a timeout with 6:45 left. Still trailing 9-0. It's been all Generals here to start. The Blue Jays been outshot 20-6 here in the first half, and it's not even just that. It's just been every time they've gotten the ball in WNL's defensive end, they just haven't been able to string together a sustained offensive possession. It has been turnovers, missed passes, just fundamentals of just holding onto the ball.
Yeah, I think they're trying to play the transition game with the Generals, which is showing that it's not working. So I think they need, with the 6 minutes left here in the first half and in the second half, they need to settle down, run the offense that they can get set up and get high-level shots in.
So Washington leads, been powered by 5 first-half goals from Alex Brown as they lead it 9-0. His most recent one, a nice behind-the-back effort for the senior captain. For Nick Duquesne in goal for the Generals, he's only had to make one stop tonight. So a lot of action this weekend, obviously playing against RIT and Stevenson. And, 8 or 9 saves in both of those games. But a little bit more of a reserved first half that he's had to see thus far. WNL has cycled in a few other players, one of those being Justin Lee, one of the seniors. Senior day on Saturday afternoon for the Generals, and they take on Guilford College, 1 o'clock. WNL will bring it back in here with 53 to shoot, 6:45 to play, as they will re-enter here on the right side. Ott knocked to the turf, loses the ball, flag flies late, and a penalty will be handed out.
Looks like we're going to get a 30-second push with possession there, possibly. We'll see here in a second.
A 30-second call against the Blue Jays. So with 6:33 left. Generals will have till 6:03 left on the clock. Third man-up chance of the night for WNL. One for their first 2. Last time the Generals got a wide-open chance right in the slot. See what they're able to cook up on this possession. Elliott for Smith. Extra pass. Ott, the cutter over the middle. Can't be completed. And another flag flies as an Elmhurst player hits the turf. A lot of contact from 2 or 3 Generals at the same time. So the penalty expires against Elmhurst, and after WNL will touch up, they will also have a man-up chance. So that'll go against Leif Smith. Be a 30-second penalty against him. And this one will be blown dead at 5:44 to play here in the second.
Yeah, that was a great look by the Generals there on the inside. Just unfortunately couldn't get a handle on it. He turned the ball over, and then just the push there seems very unnecessary. To play the ball and just stay on his hands and maybe force a turnover, get the ball right back.
Elmhurst was unable to convert on their first man-up chance. We'll see what they can do here on their second. Eli Spence with it just at the Trident logo at midfield. He's been very much held in check. A lot to some of the defensive work of Matthew Azell, who's drawn the man-to-man assignment against him at full strength. Blue Jays working it around. This pass for Grebe can't be caught. DeCane out of the net. And it will roll out of play past the end line anyways. Another chance in which Elmhurst has not been able to complete the simple play as Elliot Cohen swims his way through the midfield. Haley will possess with 5 minutes to play here in the first half. Generals will roll back out. Keller, Todd, and Leif Smith in the midfield. Michael Ott will stay out on attack for the Generals. Work with Brown and Haley. A shot from a long ways for Keller finds the back of the net, and just like that, it's 10-0. Just plenty of space for Keller to operate. Not a person within 5 or 10 feet of him. And full extension, a full windup, and keep that shot low, and it finds the back of the net for his second goal of the night.
Yeah, Ryan, just a natural pick there that he rolled through, and two Elmhurst defenders just ran into each other, left them wide open for a nice step down.
4:38 left in the first half, and Elmendale leads by double figures. Face-off win for Will Bowe. The Generals will go right back to work. Ott trying to shake his defender. There's Justin Lee entering. Lee will rotate in. Menino and Elliott not far behind. Pressure from behind. A piece of that one was McManaman. And Elliott's pass for Haley can't be completed.
Great trail check there for McManaman. Just forcing a turnover there, hanging his stick just a little too much where he can get a piece of it and, disrupt the pass.
So Elmhurst will settle in on offense, trying to find something before the first half comes to a close. They've got 3:35 to work with here. Trying to find some formula that's worked. They have 10 turnovers on the night. So do the Generals. Washington Lee also has 10 goals to show for it. That shot will trickle wide, and it will stay with Elmhurst. Winning the foot race that time.
Gets lucky there. Still 45 seconds left on the shot clock, and we're taking a shot. With guys on our hands, it's a tough shot, especially with a full, almost full minute ready to roll on the shot clock.
Leary, top of the zone. In the middle it comes, and there's the first Elmhurst goal of the night. Hunter Hernandez gets on the board for the Blue Jays. Just the help defense has to slide over, and Hernandez left and open over the middle, and Hernandez gets his 12th goal of the season. And so Leary picks up the primary assist, his 4th assist of the year. Hunter Hernandez, somebody that has started now 7 of 8 games on attack for the Blue Jays this year. 12 goals, says the freshman from Saratoga Springs, Utah. And just like that, the Blue Jays finally crack on the score sheet with 3 minutes to play in the first half. Good defensive work by Gabe Henry. He'll go in transition. Lined up with the long pole and bounce it wide. Henry scored a couple of long pole goals this year as a freshman defender. He's perhaps looking for his 3rd of the season right there.
seems to be some life in the Blue Jays bench here. You can hear them, hollering and getting excited here. So hopefully they can use this momentum to try and claw back at this deficit here.
Perhaps just at least seeing one goal go through and at least some positive momentum heading into halftime is all you can take after giving up the first 10 goals of the game. A shot by Spence. The Cane is able to deflect wide. Defenders all around number 36, Ryan Swank, that time. And in the top corner of the net, that shot goes from Brendan Krause. So the Blue Jays score twice, 80 seconds apart to make it 10-2.
Great placement by Krause there. Tucking it away in the top right corner. Offside stick. It's a tough shot to save. You got to get a piece of it with your elbow there, and that's just textbook.
So Brendan Krause picks up his 6th goal of the year, and the Blue Jays fire off 2 straight. Vasquez trying to pair a face-off win with it. Gets it up in the air, and it's controlled by Elmhurst. Henry just trying to dance his way free. Eventually it comes for Spence, and he's closed off. Para Generals make that stop. Healed, lined up, and fire it wide.
That's a great look from the Generals. You have a 5-on-3 there. Defenders stay solid and stick. Let the long post shoot there.
Harry able to dip through a couple of checks, leave off for Grebe. 45 seconds or so left here in the first half. Nice work by O'Keefe on the hands of Pete Grebe. Stepanek over for Ames. Grebe, check that. Spence with the goal for Elmhurst. 3 straight tallies for the Blue Jays.
It seems like the Blue Jays are finally finding their footing. Just a great offensive possession there, moving the ball around, having the Generals defense move, and allowing them to get a semi-decent open shot there.
For Elmhurst, they have some size up front in terms of just pure height and length, and using that in some one-on-one matchups to at least just turn the corner and get separation on those shots from a higher angle. A very clean face-off win that time by the Generals. Final 10 seconds here of the first. Cohen, shot will sail wide. So stay with WNL with 3.3 seconds left. See if that's any time left for the Generals, and looking for a deflection over the middle. Will come out to midfield as the first half comes to a close. Washington and Lee scored the first 10 goals of the first half. Elmhurst the final 3 in the last 3 minutes of the first 30 minutes to make this a 10-3 game at halftime.
Yeah, I think Elmhurst tried to come out here and play the transition game, run up and down with the Generals, which, as I've seen in the past, is not the Blue Jays' game. They need to settle in and move the ball around and get productive shots in, and we started to see that with the last 4 to 5 minutes in the half here, and it's starting to work for them.
So Washington and Lee takes a 7-goal lead into halftime. They were up 6-0 after 1, now 10-3 after 2. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the full first half stats and get you ready for the second half between Elmhurst and Washington and Lee right here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network.
Inclusion means
Washington and Lee University and our athletic department acknowledges that we practice and compete on the traditional homelands of the Yesa people, whose descendants are the Monacans. We honor the land itself and give gratitude to the indigenous peoples who have stewarded it throughout generations. We respectfully, inclusively, and proudly support our local Monacan community.
On a beachside balcony.
If you have one word to describe your team this year, what would you use?
Fast.
Kaizen.
Togetherness.
Gritty.
Determined.
Tough. Bunch of ballers.
100%.
We're driven.
Quick.
Determined.
Fergalicious.
Disciplined. Electric.
Energetic.
Close.
Electric.
Tough. Electric.
Team this year.
Energetic. Gritty. Tenacious.
Electric.
Fast.
They're leaders in the community. They get involved in lots of different initiatives. Not only do they like giving back to the community, they actually see the fruits of their labor while they're here.
One class that I took that had an emphasis on community-based learning was a food for thought, neuroscience, and nutrition class. We made videos to walk kids through food groups and nutrition.
I'm a part of the Neighbors Service League. I've mainly served through Campus Kitchen.
Campus Kitchen is a really great organization that helps combat food insecurity in the area around here.
We have an engineering course that allows students to study traffic flow in the local Lexington community and to make recommendations. Mock Convention is a moment every 4 years where W&L students create a political nominating convention. It is completely student-run. It is a learning experience for them, and it's something that our entire community takes part in. Students learn to lead in ways that prepare them to succeed long after they graduate from W&L.
Back here at Wilson Field on the campus of Washington and Lee University. 10-3 our score. Number 11 Washington and Lee up by 7. They scored the first 10 goals of the game before the Blue Jays scored the final 3 goals of the first half over the last 3 minutes. That was coming from Hunter Hernandez, Brendan Krause, and Eli Spence in that order. Let's take a look at some of the first half stats. The Generals outshot the Blue Jays 23-12. Just 3 saves for Andrew Laxonen in net for Elmhurst. 2 saves for Nick DeCane for Washington and Lee. The Generals have 5 more ground balls, and the Blue Jays have 1 more turnover. Both teams did have double-digit turnovers, however, in the first half. It wasn't maybe the most clean first half for both sides, but W&L still a 10-3 advantage on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Elmhurst Blue Jays early they seemed very out of rhythm. Just kind of throwing balls away, forcing things inside and not sticking to their true offense or even their defense. They left guys wide open on the crease and left their goalie out to dry multiple times in that first half. So we'll see what happens in the second half, and hopefully they can clear it up and keep this run going that they ended the first half with.
So Washington and Lee got out to a 10-0 lead. A lot of that thanks to 5 first-half goals from Alex Brown. Some other statistical leaders in the first half. Hillis Burns, 2 goals and 2 assists for W&L. A goal and assist for James Haley. 2 goals for Andrew Keller. Assists for Jack Todd and Sam Menino. And 2 assists for Michael Ott. So on the 10 goals the Generals have scored, 7 have been assisted. A goal for Spence, Krause, and Hernandez, with O'Leary picking up the only assist for Elmhurst. The faceoff to start the second half is still bouncing around as it makes its way into the offensive end. It's Elmhurst to pick it up. It's been Gabe Henry who have called his name quite a bit here tonight, number 24 for Elmhurst. He's had an impact in a lot of different facets in this game for the Blue Jays. So perhaps what the doctor ordered for Elmhurst here to start the second half. You scored the final 3 goals of the first half. You get the ball first to start the second half to try and keep that run coming out of halftime. Eli Spence grabbed his 30th goal of the season in the first half. As the Blue Jays work it around, this is Ethan Stepanek. For Haycock, now here's Spence, one-on-one with Matthew Azell. A lot of action near his hands, and he passes over for Haycock. Elmhurst trying to create here with Hernandez, spinning against Albricks. DeCane gets his stick to that one. And it'll be Elmhurst ball.
Great possession there from the Blue Jays, winding down the clock there and getting a high-level shot there. And then obviously getting the ball back there is huge with a fresh 60.
Elliot Cullen thought perhaps he had great positioning for Washington and Lee, just didn't get the call his way. Stepanek sees a double team and pass out of it for O'Leary. He'll catch him between hops off the turf, and he'll have to save it right in front of the Blue Jays bench. Cohen checks him hard to the ground and forces the turnover. And he swims through both Blue Jays on his way up the near side. Draws almost a triple team before passing out of it. Zell will dip through for the Generals. And we'll have an offsides against Washington and Lee. Blue Jays quickly the other way. DeCane drops down to make the save. There's Albricks up the far side. Take that Elliott for the Generals. Menino looking to create. Over the middle. Extra pass. And a stop that time by Laxinen on Elliott from point blank range. Menino around the screen to his right. He'll pass out of it. Elliott spinning right, going back left, and firing high and wide. Blue Jays made things a little bit more difficult here to start the second half for Washington and Lee. James Haley enters, 15 to shoot. Haley behind the net. Wraps it around and curls it in. Just an individual play here from James Haley. See the stutter step to get going. Curls it on the ground to the far post as Haley gets his second goal of the night.
Brian, you saw Grebe was very close to him, right on him. Just that little stutter step just created just the tiniest of separation, which allowed him to get that shot on.
So Wilbo out for the face-off for the Generals. Vasquez set to take the draw for the Blue Jays. Face-off battle 50-50 here to start. Each team has won 8 of the first 16 draws. This one by Bo. Does all he can just to save it back. And it's scooped up by Michael Zahardine. So Zahardine getting some of his first action of the night. And he immediately turns it right over. Chance for the Blue Jays. And a high shot controlled by DeCane. Now numbers the other way if W&L hurries. They got a 4-on-3 break. Bouncing through, it's Bassett. And that shot goes wide. Possession awarded to Elmhurst.
For the Blue Jays, this is not the game you want to play, is moving up and down the field. You know, you're down on a 4-on-3, and then it's going right down the other way for another 4-on-3. And luckily you get the ball back there. But it's just a tough game to play against a high caliber team like the Generals are.
One of the things Washington Lee did so well last season was just execution in transition. As this one poked free and scooped up by Elliott Cohen. Cohen, one of the guys that normally leads the break for the Generals, as O'Keefe enters ahead. Henry Reed in the mix offensively as well. Here's Cohen. Back to his left. A shot wide. Accident again, quick out of that crease to win back possession for the Blue Jays. Grant will bring it ahead for Elmhurst and settle down here with Eli Spence. 9:05 to play in the third as Pete Greavy controls. Aycock. Stop and go. On the net for Spence. Aycock forced back by Chris Datz. Chase him all the way out by midfield. Less than 20 to shoot for the Blue Jays. O'Leary with less than 10 to fire. This one curled in. Spence gets his second of the night. Shot clock winding down, just 4 to shoot here for the Blue Jays. And Eli Spence finds the top corner for his second goal of the night.
Just a lucky bounce for Spence there. Just looks like the Generals causing a turnover there, and it goes right into his stick. He buries it in the back net. Another great offensive possession for them, winding down the shot clock, getting a goal there.
Making W&L defend for a full 80 seconds as well. When pinballing around. Stepping up to field it is Datz. Haley. Over for Bassett. Curls back, Haley. Spinning back left. And Haley is denied. The shot got knocked down right in front. Came right to Ferry, and he gets through a crowd of defenders. Ferry with a pass out of it. The pass is picked off. Here come the Generals again the other way. 4-on-3 if they hurry. One more, Bassett, and wide.
What a great look there. You draw your defender over, a bang-bang pass, and a great shot. Just gets off the cage, but you get the ball back with a fresh 60 here.
Once again, Washington and Lee able to get up and down in transition. Still nothing to show for it in terms of a goal, but just being able to push the pace set the way that they would like to play. Again, the Blue Jays step their game up to match. Keller with an exchange for Leif Smith. And it's been the pressure of Gabe Henry. Keller with room to his left, looking for the far post. That's all it caught was iron. Smith loads up looking for the far side and only wide.
Just look at now, Gabe Henry on the sideline. Broke his stick on the last play, playing catch here with his backup to see maybe we get him back in this game. But this is a huge loss for the Blue Jays right now defensively.
They force a turnover anyways as Haley turns it back over. A W&L player knocked into the crease. They'll stay with the Blue Jays. Here they come up the far side. We saw 13 goals in the first half, 6 in the first quarter, 7 in the second, just 2 here in the third with 6 minutes to play. So as much as the game has gotten more up and down in the run of play, there haven't been nearly as many stoppages and or goals here to start the second half. Swank over for Haycock. Brents with his third goal of the night. Just an excellent individual effort from Eli Spence. Switches hands and finds the top corner.
There's just enough separation there on that rollback. The stick can't get back in there. He can just fire it off and fires it to the backside corner.
Elmhurst makes it a 6-goal game, 11-5. with 5:27 left. Long tie up here on this face-off. Oh, trying to knock it free. Vasquez able to deflect it. Blair Brennan in pursuit as well. He scoops it up and keeps it alive. Pass back over the middle. Will get away and into the Generals bench.
It's a dangerous pass across the middle there. Just another unforced turnover that just you can run through X and kind of swing through and let the offense get settled. Pass it off, and then we can open up.
O'Leary with it now. Blue Jays perhaps trying to cut this down to 5 goals. Instead, that pass will come all the way out to midfield. They'll stay with Elmhurst. Stepanek for Ames. And Caden Ames can't find the target. The intensity is picked up for Elmhurst as this game has developed. I almost think that they perhaps got the shock to the system to start, falling behind 6-0 in a blink in the first quarter, and we're down 10-0 in the first half. They have scored 5 of the last 6 goals in this game. Make it 6-7 on that wraparound from Hunter Hernandez.
You can feel the energy building in this place by the Blue Jays. It's just a great rollback there coming across the crease. It just beats DeCane low and away. It's a tough shot to save there.
And with that last goal, DeCane will exit. Ryan Aljader will come in goal for the Generals. So DeCane gives up 6 goals, makes 5 saves, but will exit here with 3:50 to play in the third. Aljader, who started the first 3 games of the season for the Generals in net. Senior will take back in between the pipes. A face-off win for Elmhurst. And you talk about momentum shifting. The Blue Jays, although they haven't won that many face-offs, just 9 of 20, winning a few here late to just keep this momentum stirring in their direction. Kraus against Harding. Harding trying to stand his ground. Haycock over the middle. Aljader got enough of that shot from Hernandez. Spence already with 3 goals on the night. He's got Heald as a primary defender. Pass up top, Haycock. Straight on and blocked. Generals will come away with the ground ball as they look to clear.
A great shot attempt there, and just wide open look. Aljader just saw it the whole way. There was nobody standing in front of him, and a clear path to it. So
Elliot Cohen has his shot saved by Laxonen in transition. And the Generals' transition game has been thwarted here in the second half. And just like that, Elmhurst will use a timeout. 2:03 left in the third quarter. The Blue Jays have scored 6 of the last 7 goals and made this an 11-6 game.
Yeah, the Blue Jays they have all the momentum right now. Things seem to just be going well for them, and the offensive production is skyrocketed from the first half. They're getting great looks, they're possessing the ball, they're running down the shot clock and getting great shots off, and that's all you can ask for out of your offense.
A few saves here in the second half as well for Laxon in net. He's got 7 saves to go with his 11 goals allowed. Obviously, just mentioned it after the most recent goal for Elmhurst. Ryan Aljader came in relief of Nick Duquesne in goal for the Generals. He's trying to find something to stop this Blue Jays run, because in the first 25 minutes of this game, it was everything in WNL's direction. It was 10-0 in a blink, and then Elmhurst scored 3 goals in the last 3 minutes of the second quarter, to at least make it 10-3 at halftime. Generals struck first here in the third, but it's been, again, 3 straight goals from Elmhurst. And just like that, it is a 5-goal game.
Yeah, Ryan, I think the Generals just need to settle down and possess the ball. We talked about it with the Blue Jays in the first half. They're well known for the transition, but I think they need to sit back here and get a great shot off and get a goal just to kind of, cut this run here for the Jays.
So 2:03 left in the third. Still 61 to shoot here for Elmhurst. Coming out of the timeout. Trying to keep this good run going. Elmhurst has never played a ranked team before. Playing a nationally ranked opponent, perhaps. Trying to put a surge together here to a chance to knock off a ranked opponent for the first time in their young history. This is just the 12th season of Elmhurst Blue Jays men's lacrosse. Head coach Mark Morell has been at the helm for all of them. Ames leaves off for Swank. Checked back by Datz. Swank behind the net. Ames will circle. And drive to his left. Albrecht's looking to stand him up. Spence. The cut to the crease. Aljader gets a piece of it as it deflects for Datz. A run out for the Generals. 5-on-3. Reed. One more pass. Brown in front. And here's his 6th goal of the night.
Just fantastic ball movement there. I know I was just talking about that they need to settle down and get a good possession here, but coming down, you got a 5-on-3. You have to move it around, and great ball movement. Just great way to get around the defender, tuck down under the crease, and beat the goalkeeper one-on-one.
It comes with Henry Reed, bring it in. Out on the far side to Haley, drops it across to Brown, and he makes the individual move in front for his 6th goal of the night. That's the difference on the scoreboard, 12-6. 6 tallies for Alex Brown. Under a minute to play here in the third. Bilbo and Tony Vasquez, another face-off win for Vasquez. Spence will settle here. Perhaps Elmhurst looking for a final shot before the end of the third. And the best quarter for the Blue Jays on the evening. They've outscored Washington and Lee 3-2 here in the third stanza. O'Leary looking for any separation. He'll pass off for Hernandez. 10 seconds to play here in the third. And Aljader sees that shot the whole way from Haycock. Long pass looking for Ott up ahead, and it's going to roll out of play as the third quarter comes to a close. So Elmhurst able to chip away at that WNL lead. They had it down to as few as 5 at 6 after 3 quarters. Number 11, Washington lead 12, Elmhurst 6. As we step aside, we'll have the final 15 minutes in the fourth quarter when we return on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Washington Lee University in Lexington, Virginia. Ryan Cowell, Matt Aker with you on the Washington Lee Sports Network. Generals up by half dozen to start the final 15 minutes as Tyler Spano wins a clean faceoff. He's got a straightaway chance and a nice trail check from behind forces it loose. Ott over the middle has it poked free. It comes to Brown in front, and there's his 7th goal of the night. Perhaps not the way you drew it up for Alex Brown, but 7 goals for the senior captain.
There's not much to say there. Just 2 very unfortunate things happen for Elmhurst there. You get 2 great trail checks. It just ends up in his hands, and he just dumps it in. There's nothing you can do.
So that's Alex Brown's 7th goal of the night. The record for most goals in a single game is 8. Has been done 5 times in program history, most recently by Cam Lewis against Denison in 2015. So perhaps something to keep an eye on if Brown can tie that feat. But 7 goals on the evening takes his season total from 22 to 29. Just like that in a blink. It's the 8th game of the season, and he's already staring down 30 goals. Here's another chance for the Generals as Brown is hit from behind in the crease, and he'll hit him with a crease violation.
I'm not sure if I agree with that so much. It looked like he got a little nudge from the Blue Jays defenseman there to dive into the crease, but that's why I'm up here and not down on the field in the stripes.
This pass, Aljader couldn't get to it coming out of his crease, but won't be completed, so it'll be just an instant turnover.
It looked like the Generals pulled out just a soft 11-man ride. Aljader stayed in net, and usually in the 11-man ride, the goalkeeper will come out, but forcing him to make a deep pass there and force a turnover.
This pass deflected down for Ott. Haley with it. Lenino, Elliott, and Leif Smith going to be the midfield unit. Ott shuffling here to attack. Pass comes all the way through. Smith able to keep it on the plus side of midfield. Albricks tries to pick it up, but instead it comes right to a Blue Jay. That's Jake Greavy's got a step and a hefty stick check. The Generals forces that one clean. Ott on the return. It's Leif Smith in transition.
Just a classic give and go there between Ott and Smith. Just nothing you can do there from the Blue Jays. Dish it off, right back to a cutter. Stick side hip. It's hard to make that save on any day.
2 goals for the Generals in the first 2 minutes here of the 4th. And they have ballooned their lead back up to 8, 14-6. An angle 2 at that time was McManaman. And a moving screen. A turnover against the Blue Jays. Keller up the near side for the Generals. Haley will back out. Jack Todd, Andrew Keller. And in will rotate Sam Bassett for the blue and white. Todd with a step and a shot that misses.
That slide from the Blue Jays needs to come a lot earlier. You're getting off a wide open shot and you're getting to him as he's shooting. You're once again just leaving the goalie out to try and do too much.
As James Haley, right off the restart, finds the 15th goal of the night for Washington Lee. We'll see it here, just eases his way into it, spins back to the left, and just plenty of real estate.
Yeah, nothing too special there. Just a nice move to hitch back to the top side, and once again, another late slide, and just can't close out and force just him to bail out and pass it off.
15-6, Washington lead, 12:20 to play. Bo's got a clean look at this one. Will Bo going to take it himself and bounce it in.
Give that the classic and one with a flag there for Will Bo.
So good enough. We'll see the whole play here in our 10-second replay. Bo, a clean face-off win. Bounced that one well before the crease and caught the top corner of the net. Flag still flew after the play as referees will get together to talk about things as Bo has to be helped back to his feet and off.
Got a discussion in the midfield by the referees here. I don't know if we're going to look with contact to the head here, possibly.
It seems like one official will make his way over to deliver the call. So a legal body check. That's a non-releasable penalty as well, so it'll be a minute advantage for the Generals.
This could get really dangerous for the Blue Jays here. Locked in. If the Generals can score here, they're still a man up for the whole minute, so they can rattle off as many goals as they need to with the man up.
Spano on the face-off here for Washington and Lee. They'll put a long pull on him, as that'll be number 24, Gabe Henry, just to try and force him backwards. Down a man. A little bit more difficult to get a clean win. John Lane rotating in for the Generals, number 31 in white. Here's a dodge to the net by Smith and a high shot.
A lot of movement inside by the Generals, forcing the Blue Jays defenders to kind of pick people up, and it's freeing a lot of the Generals up.
Alex Brown really still operating in the slot through the middle here for Washington Lee. He's got 7 goals on the night. One more would tie him for the most in a single game in program history. He'll kick it out to Ott. Delayed the shot that time. We'll work it around for Haley. Lane will load up and fire into the chest of the goalie Laxonen. Knocked down in front. Ott will pick it up. One more pass, and it's Haley on the goal. So you see the initial shot from Lane. Laxonen knocks it down. Good play in front, though. Brown got to stick to it to deflect it down. Him and Ott nearly collided. Extra pass over to James Haley, and there's goal number 17.
I don't think that's the smartest play from Lackinson there. You have your two close defensemen pulling out to the wings. Instead of trying to go up the middle there with the guy in your face, dump it out, settle in, get into your clear, and then you can move up. Instead, you get a turnover there and then an easy goal for the Generals.
17-6, and what we saw from Washington in the first quarter we've seen here to start the fourth. 5 goals in the first 4 minutes for the blue and white. They have poured it on. Face-off win for Elmhurst. Blue Jays back at full strength. Now after outscoring WNL 3-2 in the third quarter, already given up 5 goals here to start the fourth. Stepanek. Gotta lower the shoulder. Spence looking to create. Gonna work his way middle. Azell knocks him back. Stepanek up top for the goal. First time the Blue Jays have beaten Ryan Alligator tonight. He made 4 saves in relief between the end of the third here, most of them coming at the end of the third after he replaced DeCane. About 5 minutes left to go in the third, and the first time today he's beat upstairs by Ethan Stepanek.
It's a great move by Stepanek. Nice hitch top side. Free up some space, and it's a perfect ball placement there, top right corner, just to beat him.
10-10 left in the fourth. Spano wins the draw. Able to sling it across for Haley. Still bouncing its way around, and Spano will recollect. This one from Menino streaking in. Had some separation, tried its luck at a shot. Haley rolling around the crease. Out in front, Elliott, and there's another tally. Haley creating that opportunity, as he's now got 6 points on the evening. His second assist, 4 goals to go with it, as he sets up Jack Elliott for the first time tonight.
Yeah, the backside help was just late there. The initial, first slide came on time. Backside slide just needed to come in just a second sooner and keep his stick on there.
And a violation against Elmhurst. Will give it right to W&L. More separation. This one off the side of the net from Haley. And again just trying to strike quickly. But 6 goals across in the first 5 minutes and 27 seconds of the fourth. Spence just weaving around the top of the attacking third. He'll let his midfield change. On comes Pete Grebe. Brennan Krause will join him. Krause pressured by Henry Reed. Spence checked by Azell. And that shot goes wide. They'll give possession to the Generals. W&L trying to clear through the middle. And just ducking through the traffic was Henry Reed. Haley trying to find Ott. Won't be able to collect that pass, but a deflection off the Blue Jays will keep it with the Generals. Todd dodging through here for Justin Lee. Ott, spin to the right. Leave off for Haley. Lee, switching hands and bouncing it wide. .7:01 left in the fourth. Lee, this shot not close.
He's within 15 yards. It's a good attempt. You just have a defender in your face. It's kind of tough to get that shot around him there.
Final few seconds to the shot clock, and it's Andrew Keller going upstairs. Right off the restart, just about 2 or 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Keller drops it low to high, top corner.
One of my favorite goals in college lacrosse, just the low to high, into a corner. Great move there. Just ducking under the defender, getting his hands low, and following through and finishing.
That's the third goal of the night for Andrew Keller. The first hat trick of his young college career for the first year from Ryan, New York. Entered the day with just 4 goals through the first 7 games. There's 3 here this evening against the Blue Jays. W&L has pushed their lead to a dozen, the largest of the night, 19-7 with 6:35 to play here in the 4th. And for how fast the Generals started this game, I won't say it lulled for them in the middle, but perhaps was a little bit of a plateau. They have spiked back up here in the 4th. Aljader drops down to make that save. And the Generals not wasting any time. Pass too high from Brennan to Zahardine. That's a turnover.
Just another tough pass, both running full speed, and you throw it a little behind them. Just a recipe for disaster there.
For Brennan finding Zahardine that time. Left it a little too upstairs. Aljader out of the crease to dive after it and win back possession. That draws a nice stir out of the Generals bench.
It's a great trail check there for Brennan. Disrupts the pass of that shot and lets Aljader get out there and get the ball back for the Generals.
Bassett settled down. Comes back near side. And that's Menino. Generals just keep pouring it on. And Sam Menino with the most recent goal.
It's a great find there. Menino's coming in late. The defenseman has to run 10, 15 yards out. By the time he starts to break down, Menino's already at full speed, and he puts a great shot, off-stick hip. It's hard to make that save there.
The Generals will make some changes here before the next face-off. Brown, full speed hustle to get off that time. Alex Brown will check off with 7 goals in tonight's game with 5:28 left. It's 1 goal shy of tying the single game record. See Ben Ermshire out there on attack. Sam Bassett and senior AJ Levitt going to get some time here over the last 5.5 minutes. Levitt part of this big 15-person senior class for the Generals. They get honored before the game on Saturday against Guilford here at home. That's the next Generals game and their next home game Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock right here at Wilson Field. We'll have the Senior Day festivities start for you 12:45 on the Washington Lee Sports Network. That shot gets away in a hurry that time from Byron Newman. That's a little bit of a deflection on that as well. Byron Newman, Gavin McClernand, and Jack Booth out there in the midfield for the Generals. Bassett off to the right. Gonna circle back, finds it in front, and a behind-the-back goal for Ben Ermshire. Nifty stick work there from the sophomore from Charlotte. Bassett right in front, and Foley around does Ermshire go.
He just kind of got lost. The Blue Jays couldn't find him, and highlight reel goal there with the behind the back.
So Ben Ermshire gets on the score sheet. 21-7 Generals with 4:12 left. Nick Tusing, another senior. It's out there for the face-off for the blue and white. Him and Nick Lipsher, another senior mixing in. Michael Jamison, another senior out there on defense for the Generals. So some guys have not seen as much time to start this season in their final year with the Generals, getting a chance to play here over the final 4 minutes. Stepanek for Grebe. Bouncing it wide as we have another goalie change for the Generals as well. Number 44, Ryan Boyd, in the game for the blue and white. Boyd last year started 8 games for the Generals in his first season before then senior Warren Seeds won the job. Boyd had a less than 10 goals against average and a save percentage over 47%, 9.96 GAA in 8 games started. He also got some relief action as well, his first action here in the new season. That shot a piece of was Laxonen for Elmhurst. 3 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. W&L up by 14. Around for Bassett. Aiden Turner in the mix now as well. Turner on the net for Levitt. Up top for Evan Wyatt. Turner catching the mask that time of Laxonen. He was able to get in front of it for another stop. Double-digit saves for Laxonen in goal for the Blue Jays. Spencer Surface out there, Jay O'Keefe, Perry Kramer, Nick Lipscher, Michael Jameson, all getting some action for the Generals. Here's a chance in front for the Blue Jays. And it's the 8th goal tonight for Elmhurst. That one coming, looks to be Haycock in front of the net. We'll see, it's Haycock to Hernandez in front, as Hunter Hernandez adds to his evening. 3 goals for the freshman.
Yeah, nothing crazy there from Elmhurst. Just, dodge and just kind of backpedal towards the edge of the crease, and they found him, and he just had to bury it home. There's no one near him.
Vasquez trying to dig out a face-off win. Unsuccessful that time. That's the first year for the Generals. Number 40, Thomas Moxley, winning the face-off. Well, the Generals give it right back to the Blue Jays. Just a little bit over a minute remaining. W&L's on its way to its 5th win of the year, and the Blue Jays are going to have their 6-game winning streak snapped here in Lexington. Elmhurst playing their first ever nationally ranked opponent, and just their 12th year as a program, traveling on the road here to come take on a Washington Lee squad, as Caden Ames adds a goal in front for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Ames with just a nice duck under here and roll back into the middle of the crease. So, you don't want to get a push there and shove him into the crease and get a penalty, but you don't want to let him walk in there too easy, so you got to try and get at least a stick on him. But right in front of the net, I hate to say it, but it'd take a miracle to make that save right there.
45 seconds remaining. Moxley, a straight win on the draw. Action over the middle. Levitt, a kick save that time by Laxonen. A lot of contact in the corner. 2 Blue Jays go tumbling over. Generals got 6-on-4 numbers. In front it comes, and there's a goal for Perry Kramer, a senior long stick midfielder.
Gotta love a long pole goal. They don't always get all the stats to get in there to get a goal. Staying with the play there, his teammates finding him, getting him a goal is pretty awesome.
So for Perry Kramer, first collegiate goal for the senior long stick mini from Roswell, Georgia, playing his 44th career game. Had just 1 point that came back in his freshman year as an assist. As you mentioned, a guy that gets a lot of time as a wing position on the faceoffs. Get some work on the man down for the Generals. Gets rewarded there. And a blowout win up by 13. But Perry Kramer getting the first goal of his career and some of his final home games of his college career. Got to appreciate a long pole goal. Elmhurst and Eli Spence looking for more, and Spence will find it.
Spence just so dangerous with the ball, and they've contained him all game. Late here, it just makes a great move. Gets through 2 defenders and rolls right in front of the crease. It's not much you can do there.
It's a 4-goal night for Eli Spence as he scores with 5.5 seconds left. So Spence will have 33 goals on the season after tonight's game. Final face-off of the night. Kramer will scoop it up, and the Generals will come away with a 12-goal win. Number 11, Washington Lee ends Elmhurst's 6-game winning streak. 22-10, the final score.
Yeah, it was a great game from the Generals. They did what they needed to do. A great bounce back win. Putting 22 goals up. Excuse me. As a team that put up 9 in both games over this past weekend, get a great bounce back win, see the offense be productive again. For the Blue Jays, just couldn't match the intensity. I thought the transition game for them was one of their weaker points, and trying to play catch up against the number 11th ranked team in the country, it's very hard to do.
And for the Blue Jays, that last goal for Spence gets them to double figures. They've now scored at least 10 goals in every game this season. Although they have dropped 2 games this season, it was an 11-10 loss to Center, but now a 22-10 loss against number 11 Washington and Lee. For the Blue Jays, they'll have a week off before they play Aurora at home next Wednesday. So they'll suffer their first loss since February 10th here tonight, but have a chance to head back to Illinois and get back on track next week.
Yeah, and with the Blue Jays, Aurora is a pretty strong team. Getting ready for conference play for them, the CCIW is a fairly tough conference out of the Midwest, and they got to get prepared for that. And I think coming out here and playing the Generals, you see a great team. You can pick some things out of here that you liked and some things you didn't like, and work on it towards the conference schedule.
For Washington and Lee, they get to 5-3 on the season. Senior Day up next on Saturday. 1 o'clock start against Guilford. We'll have the Senior Day festivities starting roughly around 12:45. And for Washington and Lee, after a couple of, tough games over the past weekend, you lose to RIT, and then you drop a 1-goal contest to Stevenson to go winless last week. Responded home by putting 22 goals across, including 10 in the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I talked about it earlier. Just the offensive production was great to see. They played well and settled sets, but they also played very well in transition and moved the ball around and created a lot of good looks for their guys.
So Washington and Lee will head into Senior Day on Saturday. Winners 22-10 over Elmhurst here tonight. Alex Brown put in his 7 goals for the Generals. A 6-point night for James Haley and 4 goals and 2 assists. As Washington and Lee got contributions up and down the lineup. Michael Ott had a team best 4 assists, a hat trick for Andrew Keller, the first of his college career. 4 goals to lead the way for Eli Spence for Elmhurst, a hat trick for Hunter Hernandez in a losing effort, as Lacktonen makes 11 saves in net for the Blue Jays. But Washington and Lee ends Elmhurst's 6-game winning streak as they get to 5-3. The Blue Jays drop to 6-2. Elmhurst next in action at home next Wednesday against Aurora back in Illinois. The Generals will play at home on Saturday, 1 o'clock face-off against Guilford. It'll be Senior Day for the 15 seniors on this Washington and Lee roster. We'll have that game starting for you around 12:45 right here on the Washington and Lee Sports Network. For my broadcast partner, Matt Aker, I'm Ryan Collins. For all of us here at the Washington and Lee Sports Network, we say thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. We'll see you on Saturday for Senior Day. Number 11, Washington and Lee 22, Elmhurst 10.